Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Vicki-Lynne, and if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and scooch on over, hit that bell icon so you're notified every time one of my videos goes up. You don't want to miss them. I'm a plant-based vegan currently following the Starch Solution for Maximum Weight Loss by Dr. John McDougall. So today's meal prep is all going to be about 50-50 plates. That's right, we're going to try to keep it simple and keep all of our dishes 50-50. So spring is in the air, and I have some great new recipes for you today, and I hope you're going to enjoy them as much as I'm going to enjoy them. So the one thing I haven't had in a really long time is a macaroni salad. So not exactly plant-based, but definitely vegan, and it follows the starch solution. We're going to make 50-50. You're going to love this one, and you're going to love the dressing that goes on this one. Stick with me. Also going to show you how to do a really fast, not instant, but mashed potatoes in the Instant Pot. So they're like instant mashed potatoes. Easy peasy. I also have a creamy mushroom quinoa, because you know how much I love my quinoa here. This is also going to be another great dish that you're going to love, I think. And for my lunches, I'm going to do a kind of chickpea salad, tuna, however you want to call it, for my pitas, for my lunch times. And we're going to also make that into a 50-50 with the chickpeas and the hearts of palm. And we're going to throw in some great celery and some other veggies to bump up the non-starchy veg so that you're all set to go. But you can always add some extra non-starchy veggies. And then, of course, with the mashed potatoes, you can also, again, just throw on your non-starchy veg to make your 50-50 plate with that one. I was just really in the mood for mashed potatoes lately, and I just wanted to show you how I do them in the Instant Pot. So let's get into the kitchen, guys, and let's get cooking. Let me show you how I make my mashed potatoes in my Instant Pot. Quick and simple. So easy, guys. You're never going to do them on the stove again. This is a game changer. So you're just going to take your potatoes. I like just to cut them down a little bit. You don't even have to do them because the Instant Pot's going to do most of the work. And honestly, you could leave them whole. I do like just to cut them down a little bit. Just makes it a little bit easier when you do mash them. And of course, you can do as much or as little as you need. Pretty simple. Now, we're going to I'm adding about a cup, and this is just the no chicken broth. You could add water, whatever you want. Add that. We're going to put our Instant Pot on. Close it. Make sure it's vented. And we're going to do it manually for 10 minutes, and that should be all you need to do. It's going to cook. Okay, so our potatoes are done. We're just going to release the steam. So they've released. And there they are. Gorgeous. And I think there's just enough liquid. I'm going to mash. Now, I'm just going to add a splash, and again, just a splash, guys, just a little of some soy milk or whatever plant-based milk you're using, just to make them creamier. Look how easy that was. All hands off. You didn't have anything to do. And now, if you're salt-free, obviously, you don't have to add any salt. I'm going to try them because I did use the bouillon. And I do want to see there's a little bit of salt in that. Ugh, those are the best mashed potatoes. You guys have to give this a try. You are going to love them. Let me get that out so you can see my fluffy mashed potatoes. Those are fluffy and delicious. So now for our chickpea tuna, or just our salad, however you want to call it, you make it yours. I actually am going to put a little bit of kelp flakes or kelp granules in mine. Kind of gives it that CE kind of flavor. If you don't like that flavor, leave it out. And I mix mine up all the time just by changing the herbs that I put in it, just to keep it fresh and exciting. Sometimes I put cilantro in it. It just all depends. So how I make it kind of 50-50, I'm going to add some onion. And I'm actually just going to throw that into our food processor. Pulse that down. So to make our chickpea tuna salad, we're going to use hearts of palm. And these are very soft. I'm just going to cut those up a little bit. And you don't have to. Food processor is going to do it all for you. And a can of chickpea. So that kind of makes it 50-50 because the hearts of palm is a non-starchy and our chickpeas are the starch. Now, I did chop up a bunch of celery, but I'm going to add that into a bowl afterwards because I like my celery to have the crunch. I don't want it to be all chopped up in there. And now for the dressing, instead of using a mayo or whatever, I'm actually going to blend this first. Then I'm going to add a little bit of hummus. So a lot of times I'll just take another can of garbanzo beans, chickpeas, and I'll blend them with a little bit of water. But I have a ton of hummus. We had a little get-together. Everybody brought veggies and hummus over. So I have a ton of hummus to use. So I figured instead of just opening another can, I'm just going to use the hummus that I have. And so I'm going to add in some of my seasonings and a little bit of smoked paprika. Again, a little bit of the kelp granules, and I'm half a teaspoon. I play around with the flavors, and you guys know that. It just depends on the day, what I'm in the mood for. A little dill weed here. This isn't opening up for me. There we go. If you had fresh dill, a lot of times I have fresh dill because I like fresh dill for my salads. A little bit of garlic. And I always go light on the first go around until everything kind of gets mixed. And I'm also going to do some fresh parsley. This is going to be my fresh herb this time. I was kind of debating between this and cilantro, but the parsley needed to be used more than the cilantro, so it's going to get used. So we're going to blend this first, give it a couple of twirls, and then we'll see where we are, and then we'll add in the hummus as the binder. And again, my food processor is not the best, so I do have to scrape down a couple of times to get everything blended. Almost there. So I think at this point I'm going to add in the hummus. Yeah, I'm going to blend it just a little bit more, and then I'm going to... I think that's perfect. Because I like mine to still be a little bit chunky. I couldn't actually find pitas this week, so I actually found these sandwich skinnies. They have a gram of fat. That's the best I could do. My Aldi was totally out of the whole wheat pitas that are 0 fat, but they're still vegan, so they're still going to work. And I actually have some sprouts. So if you saw my last video, I was sprouting. So my sprouts, actually, I've been eating them, but my sprouts worked out, which was lovely. So quite excited about that. Just try sprouts. Sprouts are really good for you. So let me just taste this before I put in the hummus, just to see if it needs like more garlic or... more garlic. More dill. A little more kelp. There we go. lot of this is already kind of mashed together. I don't need it super, super smooth. I don't even think I really need. I'm only going to add a little bit of my hummus. And again, you do it the way you like it. I'm just going to add a little bit of hummus just to smooth it all out a little bit. But this is actually really well smoothed together. And I think it needs a little bit of salt. Sea salt. And some black pepper. And then there you go. And that's already 50-50. So once I add, oh, see what happens? I always forget something, right, guys? Okay, now with the celery in there and the onions, it's already over 50-50. So when I add in with my pita, again, I'm not going to stress myself. I'll add some cucumbers and stuff on the side or in here with my sprouts, maybe a slice of tomato, and then that's going to bring me right over to a 50-50. I'm not even going to worry about it too much. We're ready to go. So those will basically probably be my lunches for the week. I'm all set to go. Super easy. Springtime macaroni salad. Oh my God, one of my favorites. I don't know about you. I love macaroni salad. Now, you can use the gluten-free macaroni salad. You can use the chickpea. They have so many different types of plant-based macaronis nowadays, different shapes, shells, twirls, whatever. Use whatever you have. I'm using some regular macaroni. Use the high-protein stuff. Get whatever you want. We are still going to make this into a 50-50 plate. I'm adding peas. I love peas in mine. And I'm adding about the same amount of peas as I am macaroni. I like extra peas. I'm adding some chopped onions and celery, as much as you want. I add a lot of celery. If you've been here before, you know we're very heavy on the celery in this house. And onions. Now, you could also use red onion. They would be awesome in here. They would look really good. But I'm going to be adding some red bell pepper. So that's going to really bump up the look in here with the red peas. So leave me a comment down below, guys. What do you normally put in your macaroni salad? Because everybody does different things. Now you could throw in like a bag of broccoli slaw or coleslaw in this to bump up your non-starchy vegetables to make it easier as opposed to chopping all this stuff up. Totally up to you. But I know everybody puts different things into their macaroni salad, and I just find it so interesting. Some people go, oh, peas, and I'm like, that's how I grew up having it. It was just like, mind you, my mother also put in like 3 cups of mayonnaise, but we're not going to do that here. I'm going to show you how to do it much more healthy. And then I'm going to put in a couple of dill pickles. I like that brininess. Yeah, so I'm just dying to know how everybody else used to make their macaroni salad. But to me, macaroni salad is like spring and summer. There we go. Look at all that red color. That looks so lovely. And so this is like more than 50-50 because we have way more of the non-starchy than the starchy. And again, I'm just going to cut up a few dill pickles. And this is a great thing for cleaning out your fridge. If you have anything that you need to get rid of, throw it in your macaroni salad. All right. Okay. Now, to make our dressing, so you could use my tofu mayo dressing that I have on my website. I'll link it up here. That's really easy to make. Just throw it in the blender. It's delicious. But I'm actually going to show you how to make it with white beans or cannellini beans. And this is super great. It's light and fresh. It's going to bulk up, again, fiber, protein. It's going to keep the calories low. And so we're just going to take a can of cannellini beans that we've rinsed, put them in our cooker, draft one. Now, I'm going to add a little pickle juice, dill pickle juice. You can just add all water. I like dill pickle juice a little bit. I do. I think that's going to be enough. And you do have to play around with this recipe a little bit. I'm going to add a little black pepper and a little bit of salt, because these beans have no flavor whatsoever, so we're going to have to bring a little flavor to the party. I'm going to add a little smoked paprika. I'm going to add a little dill, just to bump up that dill flavor from the dill pickle. So again, you could just start with all water, and I'm going to add a little garlic. And I'm going to add just a little bit of onion powder, because we want our salad to have flavor. We don't want it to be bland. It's because we're watching what we're eating and stuff doesn't mean everything has to be bland and whatever. Okay. And we're going to blend this so it's nice and smooth. This is not the right blender for this job whatsoever. There we go. That might help. And you are going to want this to blend for a good 2 minutes. You want everything to really incorporate, and you want the beans to really start blending and thickening. So we're going to blend, and I'll be back. Okay, so we're done. Blended for a good 2 minutes or so. We're just going to try this out. Good flavor. It does need a little bit more salt. And I am going to bump up some of the flavors. Ooh, a little bit more smoked paprika, more garlic. And again, you could use fresh garlic, guys. Use whatever you have in your house. I'm just trying to keep it simple for everybody. I'm actually going to add a little bit of cayenne. Let's hope a little bit comes out. There we go. And a little bit more dill. There we go. Give that a quick mix. I should have just put it all into my Vitamix. That would have probably been way easier. I just thought this little one would be able to do the job. Sometimes not so much. And then we're just going to blend it. Put that in. Less is more. I'm just going to, a little bit at a time, to incorporate it. It's probably going to need it all. I think I'm going to add some chopped parsley to this just to make it a little fresher. Give it a try. And again, okay, you guys have to try this one. out of all of them. You have to try this one. It's so good. Okay, so there you go. We have our spring macaroni salad. Delicious, healthy for you, 50-50. You don't even have to think about it. Just pour it in a plate and eat it all day long. I hope you guys enjoy this one as much as I'm going to enjoy it. I wish I could share it with you, but I at last cannot give you my address. Anyway, let's move on to our next one. All right, so I've saved the best for last, and that's our creamy mushroom quinoa dish. We're going to get started. We're going to kind of get our mise en place all set up. So we need a couple of cloves of garlic. We're just going to chop those up, and you can just kind of smash it a little bit. I just kind of like to chop. Now, you could use the jar stuff, guys. You could use powder if that's what you have. Again, use what you have. Don't need to be stressing over it. I happen to have some fresh, so I was going to use fresh. So I do have a quick tip for you. If you don't like using garlic because you don't like your fingers and everything smelling of garlic, or anything that you're using in the kitchen that has a very strong, pungent odor, the way to get rid of that is just get something that's stainless steel, like a good knife, or any of your utensils that happen to be stainless steel. Rinse your hands under cold water with your stainless steel. If you're using a knife, obviously be very careful. And it's a chemical reaction. It will actually get rid of the smell off of your skin. Good to know. Now, the other thing we're using is mushrooms. Obviously, when you're using mushrooms, you do not want to wash them under a lot of cold water. You could use a tea towel or a lightly dampened dish towel or paper towel, and you just kind of want to wipe off all the dirt. Mushrooms will soak up a lot of the water, and we don't want extra water in our dish. So I've cut a couple of mushrooms. We need about 2 cups of sliced mushrooms for this dish, and you can kind of slice them any way you want them for your dish. We are going to end up frying them up. So you could chop them finer if you'd like. I kind of like the way they are with a little bit, I like them sliced so that there's a little bit meaty in the dish and that you could see them. Because once you do fry them up, they shrivel down. This is a great recipe. Now, we are going to use some cashew cream in this. I'm going to show you how to make it. So it's not quite the starch solution for maximum weight loss. It is still starch solution because it just has cashew nuts in it. If you're still doing the maximum weight loss and you're not doing any nuts, we're literally using about half a cup of cashews for this whole dish, and this is going to be probably about 7 or 8 servings. So really, for the amount of nuts, it's not really a lot, but you can still leave that out. You can just use soy milk, almond milk, anything else. You could blend up some white beans if you'd like. But every once in a while, you can treat yourself. A couple of cashews are not going to kill you, especially, since we're balancing the rest of our dishes. The other thing we're going to add in is we're going to also add in some cauliflower rice, and that's going to even bump up our 50-50 plate even more. So we're going to still have even more non-starchy vegetables compared to our quinoa, because we're using about a cup of quinoa. And so when that cooks, that's going to be bumped up to 2 cups of quinoa. That's basically how it is. So with our over 2 cups of mushrooms and then our our cauliflower, we're going to have that even bumped up even more. So before we head over to the stove, we're going to make our cashew cream. So I've soaked my cashews overnight. If you didn't have time to soak your cashews overnight, that's okay. You can just take some boiling water, let them soak for about a half an hour or so. You just want to soften them. And it also depends on your blender. Again, I'm going to use this blender just because it's out. I only have a small amount, and I do find sometimes with the Vitamix with a smaller amount, it's harder to blend. I'm going to add a little bit of soy milk just to get it blending. I'm going to make it a thinner cream, actually. And again, I'll edit so you don't have to listen to all this, but now this cashew cream is the basis for so many other things. You can use this as a crema. You could add cilantro in here, lime, cilantro, do it as a crema for tacos, any kind of topping for, once you're at your maintenance, or if you're using, these kind of cream sauces a little bit more on top of your salads and stuff, and just change up your flavorings. This is just going to be the base just to go in. We're going to add a few more other flavorings because I'm using some fresh thyme to go in this at the very, very end. We're going to add that at the end because we don't want it to cook out once we're cooking. So now that we have everything ready to go, we're going to head over to the stove and we're going to start cooking so you can see everything happening. So our water is coming up to a boil. I'm going to add our garlic. We're just going to saute that. I probably shouldn't have that much water in there, but I'm going to add my mushrooms and let those cook down. Don't know if your parents ever told you the saying, don't do as I do, do as I say. So you make sure you don't have as much water as I do, but these will cook down relatively fast. We want these to saute for about 3 to 5 minutes. We obviously want them to cook down. So the mushrooms have cooked down. We're going to add in our quinoa. So 1 cup of quinoa is going into our pot. Now, if you're using regular quinoa, you're going to want to rinse your quinoa first. Again, if you've been here, I use the Costco quinoa, and you don't have to actually rinse that quinoa. So that quinoa is gone in. Give that a little bit of a stir. I'm going to add in now 2 cups of water. I'm using a little bit of broth. Again, just to give it some more flavor. We're all about the flavor. I'm going to add in a 12-ounce package of riced cauliflower. That can all cook at the same time. And you can leave out the cauliflower. You don't have to add it in. I'm just bulking it up so it'll be more of a 50-50 plate. All right. I'm also going to add in about a teaspoon of onion powder, a teaspoon of pepper. Oh, half a teaspoon of pepper, sorry. And I'm going to leave the salt until the end, just so I can see what it needs at the end when we add our herbs in. So you're going to want to bring this up to a boil, put your lid on, and then let it cook for about 15 minutes to let the quinoa cook and absorb. And I'll meet you back here. Okay, so our quinoa has absorbed all the liquid. You can see it's beautiful. We're just fluffing it up now. Now to that, we're going to add in our nutritional yeast. And guys, like as always, the recipes are going to be down below for you, so no worries. We're going to add in some nutritional yeast. Give that a good stir. And now we're going to add in our cashew cream. Make it creamy. And I am going to add a little bit of soy milk. I'm going to say about 1/4 of a cup. If you like it thinner, add some more. And now we're going to add in our fresh herbs. So you could use rosemary. I have thyme here. You're going to need about a tablespoon of fresh herbs. You could use dry. If you're going to use it dry, I would put it in while you're cooking so they have time to permeate. But the fresh herbs just add an extra oomph at the end. Always adding great flavor. If you're growing, like you have a little rosemary tree, or you can tell I grow stuff. I have basil. That's about it. Everything else I kill, even the basil half the time. I try. Anyway, let's add our fresh thyme. Probably are going to need a little bit more. Don't need the stick. Give this a little taste. Really good. I am going to add a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. Actually, I'm going to add some fresh black pepper. I'll give it a nice little kick. Just get that out of there. And I am going to add some more fresh thyme. And there you go. Creamy mushroom quinoa. Give that one a try, guys. I hope you're enjoying these meal preps. These are so good. Starch Solution is the way to go if you are trying to lose weight. These 50-50 plates they fill you up. They're healthy, they're nutritious. There's no better way to do it. And don't forget, guys, leave me some comments below. Let me know what you're thinking of these recipes. Give them a try. Send me some pictures. Anyway, until the next one, see you soon.